And hello, good evening, and welcome to our Trent Nursing Applicant Reception. We are so glad that you're able to join us this evening for a night that I think will be filled with nothing but good chats, a lot of knowledge, good information, and hopefully, you'll learn something new along the way as well. We have a lot of people on our panel, an all-star cast of individuals, if I do say so myself. Speaking of myself, introductions are in order. My name is Jonathan Simagaza. I am an enrollment officer here at Trent University and also a Trent alumnus. Joined with me is Megan, working out of the Trent Nursing Department, as she always is, a busy little bee. On my right-hand side, I have Marianne Whitmore. I also have Christine Wooden, the head of the nursing department, Ashley Robinson, and Connor, who are both nursing students, Karen Foster, who is an enrollment advisor here for the nursing department, along with a variety of individuals working behind the scenes, from admissions to housing to international enrollment and everything else in between. The night will go as follows. We'll start with a nice welcome and a program overview by none other than Christine Wooden, followed by a student testimonial by Ashley and Connor. We'll put your skills to the test in a quick little quiz in which you will be able to earn bragging rights probably forever. So make sure that you have your mobile phones out for that. And after that, we'll give you a nice presentation talking next steps, the meat and potatoes and nitty gritty when it comes to getting ready from that transition from where you are now to post-secondary. A couple of housekeeping items for you. If you have a question, our Q&A box is live and ready to go. So feel free to put that question in there, whether it's now, halfway through the presentation, or at the end. One of our staff members would be more than happy to answer those questions as well. A variety of different links are going to be popping up in the chat as well. That's going to be giving you a variety of information based on this actual event. So maybe you want to know a little bit more about deadlines. We'll put a link in there for you. Maybe you want to know about course registrations. We'll also put in a link in there for you as well. The list goes on and on. Just to show you how that works, I'm actually going to put a little message in here right now, which is my third point. If you're sitting here with an offer in your email, you're mulling over it, you can accept your offer tonight, right? Applicants that are standing here with an offer, maybe they're on the fence about it, you can absolutely go and email admissions with the header applicant reception, accept my offer, and include your first name, last name, and student ID. And we'll be able to do the rest of the work. So without further ado, let's get this night started, and I'll hand over the floor to Dr. Christine Wooden to get us started.
Thank you, Jonathan. And thank you all very much for joining us this evening. I am, as Jonathan said, Dr. Kirsten Wooden, and I'm the Dean of the Trent Fleming School of Nursing. I've been a nurse for more than 40 years. I'm always a little shocked when I realize how long it's been. And I've had the opportunity to experience many nursing career options, which are open to you when you become a nurse. I've worked in a cardiac ICU. I've coordinated clinical research trials. I've been the director of nursing research for Quaternary Care Cardiac Hospital. I've worked in public health, and I am a nurse researcher, educator, and academic administrator. Nursing opens so many doors for your future. I'm going to give you a brief overview of the nursing program, but let's take a few minutes first to talk about what we think the fall term at Trent is going to look like. Trent University is planning for a full return to in-person learning in the fall. We, and I'm sure you keep up with the news like I do, are starting to see COVID-19 rates fall in the province, although we say that cautiously because the drop has only been happening the last few days, and an increasing proportion of the population has been vaccinated. We are confident that the fall will look much more normal than last year did. As of today, 1/3 of Ontarians have received their first dose of COVID vaccine, and vaccination numbers increase daily. At the same time, the university is committed to following and adjusting to any guidelines that are put into place in order to keep our community safe as we plan to be back together on campus in the fall. More information and details about the university's plans for the fall will be shared in the coming weeks and months as we monitor what's happening around us. We encourage you to watch your Trent email and check the Trent Forward website for updates. Trent's been very good at keeping information on the Trent Forward website. I, for one, am looking forward to seeing students for real again and not over Zoom. In fact, I'm a little desperate to spend some time with you in real. We have 3 BSCN programs, which only differ in their admission requirements and in their duration. These 3 are the collaborative program, which is a standard 4-year program for students coming out of high school. A compressed program for students who have previous post-secondary education, and it is 27 semesters in length. And a PN to BSCN program, which is run in Toronto and is 5 semesters in length. To keep it simple, I'm going to focus on what to expect in the 4 years of the collaborative program. And you just compress that in slightly different ways to get a picture of what the compressed and the PN to BSCN program are like. So you will start your nursing courses in the first semester of the program. You'll talk about the individual as nurse and nursing as a profession in that first semester. In your second semester, you'll spend some time each week in the simulation hub and a day a week in clinical practice in the residential and long-term care settings. In addition, you'll study anatomy, physiology, life sciences, psychology, and take some electives of your choice, including one Indigenous elective at some point in your studies. In second year, you start to do more clinical. You start to learn how to practice with groups and families, taking community health nursing in 1 semester and family nursing, including maternal, child, and mental health in the other semester. Each clinical course in second and third year is accompanied by a theory course. You'll begin to study things like pharmacology, nutrition, and microbiology as part of your advanced life science course. You'll study pathophysiology, as well as taking a second psychology course, a research course, and a couple of electives, again, of your choice. In third year, and third year is the busiest one in the program. And when I say third year, if you're thinking compressed, those are the 3,000 level courses, as some of the students here on this call know. You'll begin to learn how to care for persons with acute and chronic illnesses. Studying acute care and doing an acute care hospital placement in 1 term and chronic care placement in the other. Again, each clinical course is paired with a course in which you learn the theory related to care, as well as spending time in our wonderful simulation hub each week, practicing skills and doing simulations. You'll study the role of nurses as both leaders and advocates, and you'll learn about qualitative research in third year. Your final year, you really start to feel like a nurse. And in your final year, you will do 2 300-hour placements in an area of your choice. You'll work with the placement coordinators to decide where you want to be in terms of the type of nursing you want to practice and the geographic area. Now, clearly, we're sometimes limited by what's available. These are called independent practice placements, as you'll be assigned to a nurse called a preceptor in the clinical setting. And this nurse will mentor you as you learn to provide care independently in that practice setting. All students also take 2 advanced topics in their final year. And these courses are about specific areas of nursing, including a range of topics, which you can look up in the university calendar if you're interested in finding out what's available. But for instance, they include things like health policy, primary and rural healthcare, and they're all offered online because when you're in this 4,000 level clinical, you're working long hours, 300 hours a semester. You may be working different shifts, and you may not have geographic accessibility to campus. So we offer those courses online. Students may also choose to do an undergraduate thesis in their final 2 semesters instead of taking the required advanced topics. And we've had some students do amazing undergraduate theses. One of them is actually presenting her thesis presented her thesis at a gerontology conference last week. Trent is proud to be an interdisciplinary university, and this is reflected in the nursing curriculum and in the 5 foci that we embrace as a school. And these are Indigenous communities, women's health and gender, rural health, aging, and mental health, all of which are underpinned by a strong social justice thread, which is reflected in our curriculum, but also in the activities and research of the members of our school. Of course, I'm horrendously biased, and I think that every one of our graduates is amazing. But I'd just like to highlight a few of them for you. So on screen, we have Megan Riggs. She's a graduate of our program, and she just couldn't stay away from us. She's been a clinical teacher with us, and for the past 8 years or so has been the coordinator of our vibrant and growing simulation hub. This is a clinical learning center that the school and the university can be very proud of. We are on the map provincially and nationally, and Megan has taken us there. Another example is Natalie Beavis, who graduated from our school in 2006 and then did a nursing master's at Toronto University. She has taught with us, but now she partners closely with Trent in her role as manager of collaborative practice and the chair of the Research Ethics Board at the Peterborough Regional Health Center. And those are just 2 of our students. Our many graduates have gone on to do very important things in nursing. Thank you.
If you still want to, Doctor, I think that you should write all of my speeches. I will be coming to you for my wedding. Because not only are you able to provide information, but you're also able to provide inspiration as well for all of these students. So on behalf of myself, of course, I want to say thank you for those wise words. It's crazy to see all of these different connections, and not only that, but you also keeping a relationship with all of these students that are coming into the program and out of the program. It really showcases the strength and the resources that our future and current students have. And speaking of students, we actually have 2 nursing students here right now. I'm going to go and say they're probably some of the top students that we have. And they're here to showcase and give you all a little bit of their own experiences of the Trent nursing program. So Ashley, Connor, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. So I'm Connor. I'm in my first year of the compressed program, and then I'll pass it on to Ashley too.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ashley, and I just finished up my consolidation placement as a 4th-year nursing student in the compressed program.
So we're going to talk to you guys a little bit about like our experiences at Trent. I don't know if Ashley wants to start or.
Do you want to start?
It's up to you. Sure, I can start. Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, like choosing Trent University was a big decision for me. I actually went to Brock for 2 previous degrees. So I was loving staying at home and stuff like that. So reaching out and going out of the area was different for me. And I picked Trent because I love the campus. It reminded me a lot of Brock, and it is also very like, there's a lot to do around it, and it's very recreational. They had a really nice athletic center. And the size of the university was a big deciding factor for me as well. So because it's a smaller size, there's more faculty to students, which I really love. And it definitely shows because we're able to connect with the faculty at all times. And then I have a lot of friends that have attended Trent from the past, and they have loved it and have raved about it. And here I am now. So.
The reason why I chose Trent, first of all, because I did my undergrad at Ontario Tech University, and I did my postgrad at Durham College. And so for me, it's all about the small class sizes. I wasn't a number to my professors there, and I certainly wasn't a number at Trent. And I knew that I wanted to be engaged with my peers, as I know that nursing is not an easy program to navigate by yourself. So I knew that I wanted to have a close-knit community, and Trent definitely offered that for sure. I also chose it because of its beautiful campus. There's something about walking from East Bank to West Bank that's just really pretty when you walk across the bridge and overlooking the water and the trees, especially in the fall. There's just something that's spectacular about that. Not only did I want to go to a school that I knew that I could be, successful and have support, but also for your mental well-being, right? And so there's something about just finishing a class and just walking outside, and it just, I don't know, just gives peace to my mind. And then I also, like Connor, had friends that went to Trent, and they were in the collaborative and the compressed program, and they only spoke highly of the program.
Absolutely. Ashley, Connor, thank you. If I may, I'm just going to put you on the spot just for a little bit. We have a decent amount of individuals here watching this presentation. And I feel like a lot of them might have some mixed emotions. Some might be super excited to get started with their nursing programs. Some might be a little bit nervous, right? It is a fairly big transition. So if you were to give them one piece of advice as current nursing students, what would that be?
I'll let Ashley go first.
Okay. I think the biggest thing is just make sure you have a good support system, right? For me, I know I couldn't have gotten through this program without my peers staying up late all hours in the morning, talking to each other about assignments and navigating that, but also, the faculty are there to support you. So I think if you're nervous and you're apprehensive, I think the faculty there, your peers are there to listen to you throughout your process, whether you're there for 27 months or you're there for 4 years. They're there to guide and support you. And you also have your family as support, right? Your friends back home. So always reach out if you are finding it a little bit difficult, but everyone on the spectrum understands that.
I have 2 answers to that. So the first thing that I would say advice-wise is definitely that there's a lot of options out in nursing. I was kind of hesitant at first to go into nursing because I didn't really know what options there were. I've only seen it through the lens of my aunt, and it's a different kind of spectrum. So seeing all the options that there are that Trent has presented to us is amazing. And that's definitely something that I would never worry about now. And I'm so happy that I found nursing and have been able to connect with everyone. And then that kind of leads into my other thing is the community around the nursing program here. It's built up such a wonderful community of people that I could talk to between faculty, administrative staff, and other students. We're always able to connect with someone and talk to them and get help. So it's one of the best things.
Absolutely. Now, I'm glad that you brought that point up about community, because when I was a student many, many years ago, which we'll not disclose, one of the things that I always saw on campus, right, was just groups of nursing students going to their labs, groups of nursing students going to their simulation. And as I walked out of my psych lecture, I always saw them in their scrubs, and I'm like, man, what are they doing in there? What is, and they all had huge smiles. They were ready to go. They weren't kind of, dragging their feet, trying to get there. They were hustling and bustling. It seemed like there was something there that just drew all of them in. If you wouldn't mind, do you mind just discussing a little bit about what those simulation or those placements look like?
So for the simulation labs, I did my first one this winter semester. Basically, you go into your labs. It's a 2-hour, right now it's bi-weekly just because of COVID. Normally, I think it would be every week. But you are basically in a small group of individual or other students that you're interacting with, learning about different concepts that you've learned throughout the course so far. I find them to be very interactive and very helpful with kind of building onto what you've already learned, being able to apply the skills in person, because as of right now, we've been doing our clinicals online as well. So it's been a very helpful approach for me. I'm sure Ashley has a lot more experience in both the labs and clinical.
Yeah, from a lab standpoint, the placement that you are taking, so whether it be child, mental health, retirement, long-term care, et cetera, as you progress throughout the program, the theory that you learn in the course relates back to the labs. And then the skills you learn there applies back to clinical settings. So I like how everything is connected because it does make you feel a lot more confident and a lot more sure of yourself when you do enter clinical practice, which can be intimidating. But I love how all those pieces connect. From a clinical standpoint, I was in the compressed program, so like, you don't get your summers off. But you do, what was I going to say? You do have that support throughout your journey from your faculty advisor, your clinical instructors, your preceptors, and then the lab demonstrators. They're all there to help navigate you throughout. And I know that if I didn't have that support, I don't know how I would have navigated through this program without that. But yeah, you'll go through clinicals. Your preceptors are there to help. I just finished up consol, and yeah, definitely everything that I've learned throughout first, second, third has all prepared me for consolidation. And I feel prepared, not fully confident in myself yet, but we're getting there in terms of our nursing skills. Yeah.
Guys using cool slang like console. I want to be part of that exclusive group. Ashley, Connor, thank you for those words of wisdom. Thank you for that advice. I'm not going to say goodbye just yet because I am up to something. I'm always up to something. We got a little bit of a Kahoot quiz going on. So I have been tasked with the job to create a Kahoot for these nursing students, these prospective nursing students. If you guys haven't used Kahoot, it's pretty straightforward. You just go to kahoot.it. Once you find that app, you'll be able to put in that game pin. That game pin is going to allow you to create a name. It's going to be put up in there, just like Michelle and Maddie and Annie and Maria and Jordan Anderson. Kahoot is pretty straightforward. Multiple choice, true or false. You just got to answer the right question. However, it's also time. So the faster you answer, the more points you get. But if you jump the gun, you might risk getting that question wrong. So we're just going to give it a couple of seconds for people to fill in. We got Madison, we got Diana, we got frowny face. I hope we can turn that into a smiley face. Smiley face is already used. Olivia, hi, how's it going? Neil, nice of you to join us. Not bad. Yeah, a decent amount of people here. I like this. Isn't that great? Oh, this is awesome. So once this gets started, I will pass the mic over to Ashley and Connor, and they'll be able to lead us through this Kahoot. They know a lot more about nursing than I do, so this was a very good decision to make. Let's see if we can get it to that 90 spot or maybe 85. If not, oof. Wait for it. Wait for it. 88. Give it 10 more seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. It's locked. There you go. You guys can see the screen, right? I'm not just talking to myself here. Awesome. Awesome. So, Ashley, Connor, the floor is yours.
Okay, I will start with the first question, which is, what new partnership facility is Trent and People Care Communities building on campus? So your options are a long-term care home, a hospital, a walk-in clinic, or a dentist office. I think we're waiting for one more. Oh, there we go. I think we got everybody. And the answer was a long-term care home. So we are building soon to be a long-term care home that students will be able to use and do placements in, and also there'll be different educational opportunities, which is really exciting and amazing for the community and for Trent as well.
Okay, so the next question, what percentage of Trent nursing student graduates are employed within the first 2 years of graduation? Is it 75%, 91%, 99%, or 85%? So the correct answer was 99%. So at Trent, we do have a high pass rate for the NCLEX. Upon graduating and people write their NCLEX, most students are successful on their first try on writing the NCLEX. So hopefully this year I'm successful, one of those lucky 99%.
And just waiting for the score here. So our next question is going to be, which Trent nursing faculty member was featured in Chatelaine magazine for her research surrounding breast cancer and mastectomy tattoos? And then our options are Dr. Sarah West, Dr. Michelle McIntosh, Professor Victoria Reed DeJong, and Professor Kim English. So the answer was Professor Victoria Reed DeJong, and I've also posted the link in the chat to the article if you did want to see it.
Yes.
So our next question is, in which country does Trent nursing professor Dr. Patty Tracy work to set up primary health care to remote villages? Is Honduras, Cuba, Belize, or the Dominican Republic? So the correct answer was Honduras. So in your second year of nursing, you'll have an opportunity to have a community placement. And during that time, some students just choose that they want to go to Honduras for the brigade. And so I know that a lot of the panelists here can answer questions if you do have any, if you are interested in that when things open back up.
These scores are all over the place.
So our next question is, the Trent Fleming School of Nursing is the first university nursing programs, or is the first university nursing program to have a simulation center that received what accreditation? So the options are the CAN-SIM, the SIM-1, Society for Simulation in Healthcare, and CASN. And the answer was Society for Simulation in Healthcare. So we're the first school to ever receive that. And it's an amazing simulation center that Megan can also answer a lot more questions about.
I just want to make sure it's the first nursing department with the Sim Center.
Oh, first nursing department.
In
Okay.
Canada, yeah, for Canada, yeah.
That stumped a couple of people too. This is good.
So the next question is, nursing students advocated for a Trent Nursing School uniform. The uniform colors selected and worn today are light green scrub top, black pants, light blue scrub top and dark blue pants, white scrub top and dark green pants, or white scrub top and black pants. So the correct answer was white scrub top and black pants. So students did advocated for that. They did want a uniform, and the faculty listened. So yeah, that's our uniform colors.
Ooh, Cassie pulled up.
And so our next question is, how many hours of clinical placement do nursing students complete here at Trent? The options are 1,300 hours, 57 hours, 400 hours, and 800 hours. So the answer is 1,300 hours, and it does sound like a lot, but it is going to be the best time of your life in nursing school, and you will love it. It kind of shows how much you do participate in Trent with the amount of hours that you're getting for your clinical placements.
The next question is, where do fourth year nursing students get to do their placement? Long-term care, clinics, hospitals, or facility of your choice? So the correct answer, which most of you got, was facility of your choice. So you will have an option. So you'll have pre-consolidation and consolidation, which you'll do 300 hours in each. And you do get to put down your preferences as to where you want to go. So if you're really interested in peds, but you're also interested in public health, you totally can do those options at either placement. I did my pre-consol in medicine and then consolidated in mental health.
Looks like people are locked in here. This is good.
So our next question is, who are your patients in the nursing simulation lab? So the options are your peers, live actors, mannequins, or all the above. So the answer was all the above. So in your nursing simulation labs, you'll have opportunities with your peers, which you'll use quite a lot, and I did this semester, as well as mannequins that have a lot of cool little gadgets on them that you can use. And you'll also have live actors as well.
Dora back on top. I like to see that. I have money on this.
And this is our last question. So what do Trent Plumbing Nursing graduates take to work every day? Is it passion, the skills and knowledge to create change, grit, or all of the above? And the correct answer was all of the above. So I know for me, when I go in each shift, I'm like, each day is a new learning opportunity. And so we go in, you go in with a lot of passion, go in with a willingness to learn, go in with, you know, the skills that you have and be open to learning new skills as well, and go in with a lot of grit. You know, it's going to take a lot of work, especially in your third and fourth years. You do put a lot of time and effort into those placements.
Here it is. Cassie in third. With the silver, we got Madhu. And in first, hopefully I'll get a big payout. Let's go. Dora comes in first with 72.57. Congratulations, you have bragging rights quite literally forever. This is a perfect time to retire on top. I highly recommend it. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much to everybody for playing. Ashley, Connor, thank you so much for hosting. I'm still trying to wrap my brain around how nursing students remember all of this stuff. This is a lot to remember. I mean, the fact that you were able just to kind of quickly fire them off like that, it really showcases your skills and your knowledge in the subject as well. So now that we've kind of loosened up a little bit, you know, kind of broke the ice, if you will, I'm actually going to go and share my second screen here. There you go. Can we all see that? Your next steps for April 2021. Can someone confirm that for me? Thank you. And we're just going to get started and talk a little bit more about some of the, what's the word I'm looking for? The credentials, the criteria, the meat and potatoes, the essentials, if you will. The first thing that you want to know is that you can accept your offer, right? Accepting your offer can be done at the Ontario University Application Center. High school students have to accept the offer again by June 1st, 2021. Now, post-secondary students can also check out OUAC for offer expiry dates, and remaining admission decisions typically go out to applicants before the middle of June. And I'm going to pass the mantle over to Karen as she goes and discusses a little bit more about some of those nursing specific questions regarding admissions and that process to transition.
Well, thank you, Jonathan, and thank you everyone for joining us tonight. So I'm here just to answer a few more questions, more specifically about the admissions and applications process. So maybe you haven't received an offer from us yet. Don't worry, we're still sending out offers. Offers go out on a rolling basis until we fill the seats in the program. So typically offers go out between mid-March to around the end of May, the middle of June, just depending on the acceptance rate. And Also, when we receive updated information grades, either from your high school or from your post-secondary studies, we do reevaluate your file and update our information. So maybe you're not at a competitive average yet, or maybe there's a grade we're still looking for. We do keep continuously sending out offers and reevaluating files. So yeah, and we do that, as I said, until around the middle of June. So don't fret. So some of you tonight in the chat have been talking about the fact that you did get the alternate offer to a year of honors science. So I would encourage you to accept your offer to the year of general study honors science. You can take some of the courses that our nursing students take that are open to all students, such as anatomy and physiology and introductory psychology, and then round that out with electives of your choosing. And then we will be considering your Trent grades and the courses you take at Trent for another application for the following year. Also, you, by taking a specific set of courses, can apply for the compressed program. So if you're a high school student, for example, that got the alternate offer, you can study a year in the general study, and then perhaps move on to the compressed program and finish in 2.5 years or 27 months. So if you have any other questions about the alternate offer, I would encourage you to go to the website that's posted in the chat for alternative offers. Have a look at the documents there, read them over, and then if you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to us at nursingadmissions@trentu.ca. We're happy to answer any questions. And so submitting your documents, high school applicants, that's done for you by your school. Post-secondary applicants, your grades are probably coming out and your final transcripts should be available between now and mid-May. So we would just encourage you to get those in by the end of May. You know, if there's a delay for some reason at your school, then we totally understand, but the sooner we get them, the better. Preferably by the 31st of May. And applicants that have conditional offers, we need all your final grades and information no later than the 15th of August. Transfer credits for our post-secondary incoming students. We will evaluate you for possible transfer credits. Some of you who received an offer may already see transfer credits on the MyTrent portal. If anybody hasn't logged into the MyTrent portal yet, I would encourage you to do so. So you'll see an initial transfer credit evaluation there, but if you're still in studies for the winter, we wouldn't have those grades, so transfer credits wouldn't have been done. So we'll look at those again once your winter grades come in. But perhaps there's a course that you feel is relevant to nursing that didn't come up in that assessment. You can send course syllabi for further evaluation once you've accepted your offer, again, to the nursingadmissions@trentu.ca, and we will check and see about giving you more transfer credits. There is a limit for any student transferring to Trent, and that is 10 full credits or about 20 courses. So a question about deferring acceptance to nursing. Well, because nursing is a competitive program and there are many more applications than there are seats available, deferrals would work a little differently than some other programs at Trent. So anyone looking for a deferral can fill out the request for a deferral form, again on the MyTrent portal, and deferral requests are considered on a case-by-case basis. So typically deferrals are granted for things like extenuating family circumstances or medical reasons. So you would fill out that deferral and then a decision would be made about that.
Thank you so much, Karen. We're going to switch over here for just a little bit and talk about some of this general information. So the first thing that we want to address is knowing your student number and email, right? When we are talking about your student number, that's going to be the main form of identifying you as a student. There's a lot of people. Unfortunately, we can't remember all those names. That 7-digit number is going to be super helpful when we're trying to look up any information about you. I have my student number in the back of my mind, quite literally at any time. I can recite it right now. And at the same time as well, we're also going to be collecting your email, right? So your email will be activated mid-June under the My Trent student portal package. So it's usually going to be your first name and last name at Trent U, or first initial last name at Trent U as well. If you're having questions about admissions registrar during your time at Trent, maybe there is a class that got canceled because your teacher got sick. That is where most, if not all, of your emails are going to be filtered through moving forward. So it's really, really important to make sure that you have your email activated and that you know your student ID. Maybe you need to write it down somewhere. Once you have that memorized, you can kind of fly off with it to wherever it needs to be utilized. So once your email is active, Trent University professors and staff, like I stated before, will begin contacting you through that Trent email account. Deadlines, checking your deadlines. I had a calendar in my kitchen that my mom went absolutely ballistic on because I just circled everything. I wrote notes. I made sure that I was on top of my stuff because I didn't want to miss those deadlines. So for starters, we have a $500 tuition deposit that's due on June 15th, 2021. That just lets us know that you're still thinking about coming to Trent, you're serious about it. This is kind of a down payment on that investment in your education, right? That first installment of tuition is due on August 27th, 2021. And then the second and final installment is due January 7th, 2022. One installment for the fall and another one for the winter. If you're an OSAP recipient, installments are due on September 28th and January 28th. If you have any questions about any of these deadlines, I always advise individuals to kind of reach out via email. So financialaid@trentu.ca is a great resource to get you started. Now, course registration. You have your email, you have your student ID, that's great, but you still got to pick those courses, right? The academic timetable and the visual schedule builder will be available on May 21st, right? This is a really, really great resource to kind of highlight and map out everything and anything related to courses. So you can kind of take a look and see what you need to take in regards to mandatory courses and how that's going to fit in your schedule. Course calendar will become available mid to late May, and course registration opens up mid to late June as well. We have a variety of online resources available at trentu.ca/advising as well. You'll receive communication regarding course registration through email starting next month with the release of the academic timetable and course calendar, right? So like I stated before, this is a good time to review the course description and learn how to build that timetable. Now, orientation. Orientation is essentially what I like to describe the beginner level in a video game, right? The world is your oyster, but it's a little bit controlled, right? You can kind of mess around, see what's going on, explore, get yourself acquainted with your surroundings. Not only that, but it's a wonderful place to go and make those connections, right? Whether it's social or academic. Our orientation programs are kind of divided into two sections. The fall orientation, which is the more traditional frosh week that you see, along with our summer orientation as well. If you're thinking that you want to get ahead during the summer, get yourself calibrated, gather your bearings, maybe you have some specific questions that you want to ask, or maybe you just want to do a little bit more exploring. This is going to be the place to go and get that information. For summer orientation, you're getting course registration, right? You're getting workshops on time management, making academic decisions, right? Post-secondary is a little bit different than secondary school or high school, right? There's quite literally endless possibilities for courses to register, but you're still gonna have to make a decision. And this summer orientation allows you to get the tools to make those concise and well-adjusted and experienced decisions for those courses. You also get to connect with your peers and connect with new friends. Maybe you bump into someone that's in the nursing program as well, right? Now you have a friend and the school year hasn't even begun. So you're already doing amazing. You can get involved in student life and activities, and it's also a great place to learn about tips for adjusting to student life. The summer orientation dates are posted here at the moment. So we have 4 scheduled summer orientation dates as well. And I see that one of our panelists has raised their hand. Marion, is there something that you wanted to add?
Thanks, Thanks, John. Yeah, I did want to add as well. So these are the general orientation dates that you see in front of you here, and they're going to be doing all the things that John just talked about. So very valuable days indeed. Nursing will be holding a more specific orientation itself as well, that will really just focus on the nursing content. I know a number of you have been asking things about non-academic requirements, so no worries, there's nothing you need to do at this point in time, but we'll be hosting that June 16th or 17th. That date is just about to be set, so we'll be sending you out more information, but you'll be getting some more information over the next coming weeks. So you will spend a few hours in the morning with us during that, or in the evening with us during that week, and we'll get you focused in and prepared for course registration, and talk to you about some of those other questions that you guys are having as well about non-academic requirements and whatnot. So you'll get two opportunities to familiarize yourself with and get ready to come to the campus.
Another win for nursing students. My goodness, doesn't stop. This is amazing. Now, I have to go on a bit of a tangent here and explain myself a little bit. I'm sitting in front of you talking to you about orientation, talking to you about the amazing ways that you can, find your place and find that transition. And I'm speaking from experience. I, contrary to popular belief, I'm extremely introverted. This brings me amazing terror, or it used to when I was in grade 12. Public speaking, getting outside of my comfort zone, I just couldn't do it. And as soon as I stepped on the Trent campus, I want to say within 6 minutes, somebody was out there talking to me. They were making me feel like I was part of a community. And that's what we want orientation to do. We want to ensure that that transition is as smooth as possible. This is a pretty big change in lifestyle and a pretty big chapter that you're starting, right? So we want to make sure that you have all the tools at your arsenal. We want you to feel like you belong at Trent University. The same feeling that I got, so much so that I literally became a completely different person. This has allowed me to kind of come into my own shell and also find my voice. So I always recommend that students kind of get comfortable getting uncomfortable, make new friends, and see what's out there, especially when it comes to post-secondary. Now, when we're talking about fall orientation, it's just 1 week. Unlike summer, there's a couple of dates. We want to make that as compressed as possible. We don't necessarily want you to come to campus, then leave, and then come back, then leave, which is why we have that in that first week of September there. Orientation week is your first week at Trent University. There are no other students there besides first years and upper year students that act as your frosh leader. You'll get acquainted with the colleges, meet enthusiastic upper year student leaders. Not all of them will be wearing ridiculously small shorts like myself. Attend various academic seminars, meet your faculty and advisors as well. And as nursing students, you'll kind of get to have that double experience as well, which is super great. Now let's talk about your home away from home, right? If you're living, I want to say more than 30 minutes, commuting might be an issue. I lived in Kingston, that's 2 hours away. There's no way I was commuting, even though my mom thought it would be a great idea, so I could still come back home for home cooked meals. But the great thing about Trent University is that we have an amazing residence and housing community that not only allows you to come into your own in regards to your room, but also connect with other individuals from all over the province, country, and the world. Whether you are thinking of joining a group, maybe you're thinking of rooming with someone else, maybe you want to go and create a culinary group and kind of go and tour around the campus and the city to find that perfect meal. This is all available to our students. And there's a couple of things that I want to talk about when it comes to residence, and especially dates and deadlines, right? So all students are guaranteed a space in residence, provided that they apply by the guaranteed deadline. The choice is a first come, first serve, right? So the deadline is on June 1st. The earlier you apply, the higher you'll be on that priority. It's a $50 non-refundable application fee due with each application to guarantee your spot in this first come, first serve system. And then there's a $500 residence deposit due June 1st, 2021 at 11:59 p.m., not a minute later. Along with this date in the application, there is also a deadline for students with accessibility and unique needs. Should they request to submit their supporting documentations by that deadline, and also for applicants who are thinking of living in a living learning community. Now, you'll receive an email with a time slot for your self-selection to your residence on July 12th, 2021. And then that self-selection day will be on July 26th, 2021. And then move-in day is on September 4th and 5th. You'll get a bunch of emails from us welcoming you to your new home, do's and don'ts, what to bring, what not to bring, to make sure that you are ready to go for that brand new first year at Trent. The $500 residence deposit is also refundable if you choose to cancel your residence application prior to June 29th, 2021. Now, I talked a little bit about those living and learning communities, and you're probably wondering what that is. Well, let's just say that you, are a nursing student, right? And you absolutely fell in love with autonomy. If you take a look at the list here, you can see that Autonomy College is home to the nursing, living, and learning community. This is a great place to connect with other nursing students, partake in a variety of different activities and events as well. Now, let's just say that you go on a virtual campus tour, which we will be offering after this presentation, by the way, stay tuned for more, and you realize that you absolutely fall in love with Champlain College. You can absolutely go and live in that residence, right? If a living and learning community is located there, it just means that it's essentially specific or unique to that college. I've had nursing colleagues that lived in Trail, Lady Eaton, Zosky, Autonomy, all over. So you're not locked in to one college, which is really nice to hear. Now, let's talk about scholarships and bursaries. This is the big one. Now, when we are talking about scholarships and bursaries, the big pointer that I like to point out is that renewable entrance scholarship. Trent is a champion when it comes to investing money into our students, and this is one of the ways that we are able to do so. Along with that, we have a $2,000 IB scholarship that is available and up for grabs, along with a $2,000 SHSM scholarship. So as long as you're able to show us your secondary school diploma with that SHSM red seal, we'll be able to take that as that green light to check and assess your application. If you want more information about some of the scholarships that we have, additional information about applying, you can check out trentv.ca/scholarships for more information. Now, when it comes to bursaries, we also kind of want to make sure that if we are supporting the students, we have various avenues to do so. And one of the ways that we do that is with our immensive packages of bursaries. Students with a demonstrated financial need can apply to a number of these bursary options that are available on our website. Entrance bursary applications are available in the My Trent student portal under the Finances tab. When you are able to kind of log into your My Trent, you'll see that there's a bunch of different tabs available up there. Academics, you'll find your course registration. Finances, you'll find your bursary application. And these applications are available in the beginning of June each year. And the deadline to apply is on July 31st, 2021. I would also encourage students and invite them to apply for OSAP even if you don't use the loan portion. You might still find the grant money valuable and it entitles you to apply for bursaries as well. You can also find that OSAP calculator in the chat option down there below as well. So scholarships for international students. All international students applying to Trent are automatically considered for the Trent University Entrance Scholarships. So these range from $1,000 to $3,000 and are non-renewable. IB scholarships are awarded to all of our students who complete the IB diploma, and bursaries are also available for international students as well. If you have additional questions or if you want to learn a little bit more about some of those financial opportunities, I always invite students to check out our website at trentcu.ca/international, INTL/scholarships. A lot of information, I understand, and I know that, but I'm repaying you for your patience. I'm repaying you for your attentiveness. Just by attending this event tonight, you'll be entered in a draw to win free first year tuition, which is crazy. Imagine that, right? So you don't even have to do anything. You just literally have to come to Trent. You could be, well, the whole year more, wow, words, a whole lot richer. There we go. On top of that, we also have a variety of virtual offerings that are available as well. We want to make sure that we keep that conversation going with you. So on top of everything else that we've discussed, we have a variety of live Advantage streaming series, right? Anything from admissions to financing your education. Maybe you want to know a little bit more about the collegiate community experience, or maybe you want to know something about course registration, let's say. All of that information is here and available for you. If you want to see a full list of schedules and watch previous videos, I always invite students to check out our trentu.ca/livestream webpage. And who knows, you might find a nice little gem in there. And on top of that, if you are an international student tuning in, I invite you to check out our virtual open house, which will be occurring on May 8th from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is a great place to get all of your questions answered about admissions, international scholarships. Maybe you have questions about, maybe potentially applying and living in residence, and everything else in between. Our staff are always there and always willing and able to help our students to make sure that that transition, again, goes as smooth as possible. And of course, like I stated before, join us for a virtual tour. We unfortunately can't show you the campus in person, but we still want you to introduce you to your home away from home. So we'll have a live tour on demand, and the Peterborough campus tour is scheduled tonight for 8:30 p.m. So if you are interested, if you're curious, and if you have time, I always invite students to go and check out a virtual campus tour. It is an absolutely gorgeous video led by none other than our wonderful student ambassador, Olivia, who also happens to be a nursing student. And lastly, stay connected with us. There's a lot of information that we discussed. There's a lot of points that we covered, and I don't expect you to remember it all, right? So if you have any general questions, feel free to send us an email at discovertrent@trentu.ca or call us at our toll-free number listed above. I also invite you to check out our nursing admissions email as well if you have questions related directly to your nursing application, which is located at nursingadmissions@trentu.ca. You can book a one-on-one appointment with us at trentu.ca/virtual. If you look for Karen Foster's face, you'll be able to book with her one-on-one. And also feel free to email trentinternational@trentu.ca. But of course, we're not all business here. If you want to get to know our Trent community, if you want to see some cool videos, hey, if you want to see some funny TikToks that we've been putting out, we have our socials lined up for you to keep you connected and keep you part of that Trent family. So with that being said, that concludes the end of our applicant reception. On behalf of myself and the university, that's right, I am taking power as the university entity. I want to thank our panel of wonderful speakers, Kristen, Marianne, Megan, Ashley, Karen, Connor. Thank you so much for keeping me company this evening, answering these questions, sharing your skills, sharing your experience and your knowledge to every single one of these students. I also want to thank the second group, everybody working behind the scene, typing away, making sure that all of your questions are answered, putting in links to the chat. I know it's not a magic trick. It wasn't me doing it. They have been working tirelessly to make sure that all of that information is available to you, which is the third group that I want to thank. The audience for logging in, for staying up late, for asking those questions, for getting curious and making sure that future you is well taken care of. I do this with every single one of my events and presentations. Kristen, do you have any parting words of wisdom, advice that you want to give to our prospective nursing students before we close out this event?
Oh, we all hope to look forward to seeing you at the orientations, and that you have great success in being admitted to the program, although I realize that not everybody will be. And with more than 40 years of nursing under my belt, I can't say that I've ever regretted the decision to do nursing. So I think that you're looking at a really, really great career about which you can become passionate, but which will also stimulate you intellectually.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. Anybody else on the panel? This is your final chance. 3, 2, 1. Perfect. So to everybody watching, have a wonderful evening. You're almost there. Graduation's just around the corner. Look after yourself and your loved ones, and remember, you're exactly where you need to be. Have a good evening, everybody.